So I'm actually I'm a CPA by training. I worked in public accounting. I've also worked on Wall Street, as well as in higher education at Columbia University. And now I have my own business, FocalPoint Coaching and Training. I work with business leaders and business owners to help them chart a course for their business, develop their strategy, implement it successfully, and really help them raise the level of their success. So this is what I do, and so it was, easy for me when we said we were going to, put together this series. I said, well, of course, I'll talk about strategy. And I know in this, in this moment, it's difficult to think about even intermediate term things and long-term things. So my wish for all of you on the call is to pick up, one or two things from each of my talks, something to think about, so that if you can find something about your strategy that you begin to develop, and that brings you to a vision of what your business might look like in the longer term, that's my wish for you. And so so what have we been doing? I just want to recap. So this series that I developed is, again, about strategy. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about thinking strategically. Last week was a SWOT analysis. Today, we're talking about identifying your driving forces. And next week, we'll be talking about analyzing your competition. So on the think strategically part, this was 2 weeks ago. I was really drawing the distinction between a business plan and a strategic plan. A business plan being very tactically focused and how to manage the business day to day and how to operate it. But a strategic plan is one where you're really thinking about your intermediate and long-term goals based on a series of assessments. And so I asked our participants to really know their starting point. You see this graphic over on the right-hand side of the screen. If you don't know where you start, you certainly don't know where you are trying to go. So let's first understand where it is we're starting. And I want to just say as an aside, we will send out a copy of this presentation to everybody on this call, so you don't need to furiously take notes or anything like that, or take photos or anything. I'll make sure that Elizabeth has a copy of this presentation. We'll send it to everyone that registered. So knowing your starting point and taking a snapshot of where you are in your business today, and beginning with that clear picture, really, honestly, brutally being honest with yourself about where you are today. What your competencies are, who your customers are, what the markets are that are available to you, your competition, etc. So that was our first session. Last week we talked about, as Elizabeth mentioned, we talked about performing a SWOT analysis. And so this is looking at your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and threats. And so this is looking at your business from in a different lens, sharpening your awareness of where you distinguish yourself from others, so that you can harness those areas and really excel at them, and use them in your business to your greatest advantage. Okay, so on our call last week, I encouraged everyone to take stock of your strengths and weaknesses and your opportunities and threats, being brutally honest, making use of not just your own thoughts about your business, but also reaching out to others, whether those be your suppliers or your customers or your employees or vendors, asking them what they think about your business, where you provide service or better product than others, where you may have weaknesses, or where they see that your business could potentially pivot, where there are opportunities, or where things could happen. The threats piece is about really making sure that you don't have any blind spots. I think it's really natural to focus on the things that are going well, and then, and then something happens because you hadn't anticipated. So thinking about where there are possible blind spots or threats in your business so that you can plan and account for them. Okay, so that's basically a summary. That's a 5-minute summary of what we went through in the past 2 weeks. Today, I want to talk about identifying your driving forces. And again, my goal for today's call is for each participant to leave no stone unturned in your efforts to really understand the realities of your business and your environment. So base your assessment on your reality, not your hope, not your wish, but what is, in a real life and really true. And so, so today I'm going to talk about various driving forces that can direct your business, and really it's incumbent upon each of us as business owners to really understand our own driving force, our own, reason for being, what our purpose is, so that then we can develop our own strategy based on that driving force. Okay, so what do I mean by driving forces? Okay, so these are what I've laid out here on the screen in these colorful boxes. There probably are more, but I've laid out 8 driving forces. I'm going to walk through each of these, and I ask each of you on the call to highlight the ones that you think speak to you the most. For some of us, we may have various driving forces, but at the end of the day, you have to decide, like, what's the most important thing to you, because your strategy should be developed based on the thing that is the most important to you, your most important driving force. I'm going to talk about the various driving forces. You're welcome to highlight those that may apply to you and your business. And at the end, I'll say any of the ones that you've starred or thought were important, now prioritize them, put them in put them into some sort of ranking order. And this will give you an idea for purposes of developing your longer term strategy where you should focus and where you should spend your time. Okay. I'm just going to go in order like this across. So the first one being, are you a product-driven company? Are you a product-driven business owner? Is your focus on selling quantities of a specific product? And what are those specific products or services? So, okay, so what's a company that's product-driven? So I think about companies that are product driven. I think about the auto industry. They manufacture a specialized product that are created to fill a specific and known customer need. Okay, so a product, it can be a little bit specialized, maybe to reach a certain market. But it is really driven based on it's really focused, your strategy is really focused on specific products or services to be delivered to an existing market. Okay, so are you a product-driven company or business owner? Are you product-driven? Okay, secondly, are you market-driven? Is your focus on serving a particular market, whatever it needs? So, so in this case, you're thinking more about what the market needs and what you can provide to them to satisfy a need versus just selling your product. So I'm a coach. So that's my business. I'm a business coach. I need to think about, how do I reach, what are my clients' needs? I'm very market driven in terms of how I connect and what my strategy is. because I could try and sell, I can try and sell, services, and maybe I'll find people to buy them, but I'm going to have a greater likelihood of success if I'm really thinking about what the market needs. So I'm very market driven. I'm also thinking about, another example might be restaurants right now. Okay, restaurants are really focused on the fact that people would like to, yes, most of the time, like, we like to go and sit in restaurants and be served and be outside of our homes. So right now they're really focused on meeting the need of their customers in terms of food and food preparation. And so the market right now is that you have a lot of people in their houses, unfortunately, who maybe don't have the resources or the ability to cook inside their own homes. And so, as opposed to providing a dining room experience, these restaurants have shifted and listened to the market, and they're providing delivery and takeout. That's another example. So are you a market-driven company? Another example would be of a market-driven company would be someone that is into system development, not providing things that are off the shelf. So I think someone maybe on the call said they're into web design. Are you providing already existing templates, or are you customizing to meet the market needs? So not off the shelf products, but others. But meeting clients' challenges or problems, and then developing a system or a series of systems and solutions to help solve a problem is a market-driven force. Okay, number 3. The third one is because you're focused on ROI, return on investment, or profit, and that's your driving force. And of course, aren't all of us in this to make the money, but your focus is on achieving a specific level of profit from sales, irrespective of the product or service sold. And so what are your profit goals? What are your gross profit goals? What are your net profit goals? What are your margins, if you will? And of course, we all need to make a profit to stay alive, but this doesn't necessarily mean that profits are the driving force for every business. Yes, profits are important to me, but it's more important to me that I reach my customer and that I help them. That's one of my own driving forces. I'm more about the people. I'm more about helping. I'm more about sharing, sharing my information. And so, but a business that is ROI or profit driven is one that's going to entertain any undertaking within its area of expertise to achieve their desired level of profit. So are you a profit-driven or ROI-driven company? Okay, number 4, Number 4, size. Are you size or growth-driven? What drives some business owners is that they want to capture a particular market share, as they want to achieve a certain rate of growth or a share of the market. And so asking ourselves, what are your goals to grow your business in the year ahead? In the year ahead, in the 3 years ahead, in the 5 years ahead. And is that your driving force, your size, or a particular rate of growth? Or is it profits? Or is it getting to a certain market? Or is it delivering a product to a particular customer base? I hope everyone sees where I'm going with this. Okay, then down to the bottom row. Now I'm going to talk about technology. So certainly marketing strategies are determined by technological capabilities and strengths. What are the key technologies that determine your business activities? And is that how you execute your business? Is that your driving force for accomplishing your goals in your business? Is it technology? One of the things to think about here is your ability to shift technology make technological changes as the market changes. So, so a company that is technology driven typically needs to be able to, invest a lot of dollars in technology to sustain their technology driven product or service. Okay, so are you a technology driven company? The next one is human resources. Certainly, I really think professional service firms are largely human resource driven companies. They are really nothing without their people. And the people are their primary driving force. So I think about law, I think about consulting, I think about accountants, I think about people with particular areas of expertise. Without the people with the expertise, you don't have a business. And so a human resource driven company is one that really relies on its employees and needs to keep them in the forefront of their business. And they have to be central focus for your business to be successful. Okay, so that's hugely important to me as I grow my team of coaches. Like I have to take care of the people and their experience. If I don't have them, I don't have a team. Okay, the next one is, are you a sale or distribution driven company? Are you focused on selling more products or services into a specific channel? And how do you get your products or services to that channel? And then finally, are you manufacturing driven? This strategy, of course, is determined by manufacturing capabilities and facilities. And using those manufacturing capabilities to their utmost to provide products or services. So it's interesting, when I think about these manufacturing driven companies, like I never thought of, certainly Ford is a large auto, manufacturer, and I would have said that they are a product driven company because they just want to sell cars. And yet during this crisis, they're shifting their manufacturing capabilities. They're using their manufacturing capabilities to produce ventilators. There's a Brooklyn company that was highlighted on the news last night where they were developing marketing signs for the local community. And they're dealing a lot in plastics and plastic manufacturing. And they have now shifted to manufacturing face protective equipment for hospital workers. And so although they may have been historically either a product driven company or even a sales or distribution driven company, in this time and possibly in the future, their strategies are shifting into using their capabilities to meet manufacturing needs. Okay, so so at this point, Elizabeth, I'd love it if you could take everyone off of mute, and I'm just checking our time here. And this is the part where I like to open things up for chat and like to ask people what they think their own personal, their own driving forces are for your business. If you were taking notes, which driving force is the most important to you and to your business operations? Because the choice that you make, the one that you focus on, will really determine the entire direction of your business. As I said, there could have been a couple, but I want you to call out the ones that you're thinking about and maybe rank them and think about what your direction of your business, has been to this point, and whether there are any shifts that you anticipate going into the future. So